Hi everyone. Today I'd just like to show you a couple of tricks on how to use Excel. So here I have some example of data on Excel, and so I just have some numbers here, not particularly important, but let me just show you some couple of techniques. First technique is it's very easy to add or delete rows. I like to just right click and then I can insert or I can delete. Okay. In this case I'm going to insert a row and just put a title here which is original data. And then I have some original data. And I don't know, let's say I measure the tension of the string. But what I really want is a friction. And let's say the friction is just exactly the same as the tension, but up to a minus sign. So all this data should be exactly these numbers, but multiplied by a minus sign. Instead of going and writing down minus 2.1 and minus 2.13, which you can do, but it becomes repetitive after a while, easiest is to do a little formula. So in Excel, you can do all sort of formula. You can do addition. You can do essentially almost everything that we need anyway. So one of the things we can do is to start a formula, you just put equal sign. Then you decide what you're going to do. In this case, I'm going to multiply by a minus sign, and then I'm going to multiply this. Yeah, in this case, you just didn't need the multiplication sign. So I can redo this again. This is minus. And then you just select the cell that you want. So this cell B3 is equal to minus A3. And it becomes minus A3. Again, instead of repeating everything you have here, you can just take the corner of the cell and drag it down. And then what it does, it just drags down the formula. So at each place you can see here, sorry, the small, this is equal to minus A4, minus A5, and so forth. We could also do other operations. For example, I can square. I could say this is equal to this square. This is a square. And then I just go that, and again I can do. Or I can do a square root. I can take the square root. The square root is SQRT. Square root, parentheses. And thankfully, it's going back to the original number. Okay, and so forth. The square root is pretty much all the operation. You can do 1 equal 1 over this, the inverse, and I can keep going. So these are the kind of things we will need to do. The other one would be the exponential of this. You can just keep going, or the log, also of course the log of the number. Oops. So you have to put your parentheses, log of parentheses, this number. I can drag down again. Okay. Another thing sometimes you'll need to do is to just multiply by always the same number. So for example, let me erase all of these nice data. Let's say I want my friction, and this should be equal to some coefficient times m times g, for example. So let me define somewhere m to be equal to 10 kilogram. Just 10, don't put and I would like to multiply these numbers by this number 10. So I would like to multiply this by 10. So I can do equal this times 10. Doesn't kind of make sense why I'm doing this calculation, but it's just an example. And then you can drag. The problem is if you drag, and you get zeros here, because what it's really doing is it's multiplying this number by this number, not this one. So if you want to keep multiplying always by this one, you have to go in the formula and actually put some two signs, an equal signs here and an equal sign right here. This is telling Excel that you should keep, for the second operation, I want you to keep the column to be always E. That's what the dollar sign says. And it also says you should keep the row to be always 1. Alright, and now if I do this and I drag down, it's working. It's multiplying every number by 10. It's changing the number here, B2 changes to B3, changes to B4, but the other number, E1, does never change. Okay, So these are probably all the tricks you need. I'm going to give you some links to many more things. I mean, Excel is a huge program. You can do tons of things with it. But this is pretty much all we'll need. I'll remind you that whenever you work in Excel, you can save in Excel. So I can save this file. Be whatever, download, whatever. But the important thing is when you export, you should always export as a CSV before comma separated value, before you actually upload to StatKey. Okay, thank you.